Hi there, my name is Donna Feazell. This is Frankie King, Living on the Edge, and I'm going to tell you what, Living on the Edge with Frankie and Donna, I definitely know what it's like now to live on the edge.
Today.
And thank you so much for putting up with me, okay? Thank you, Frankie.
You know what Donna did? She had the mic covered up with the little thing that's holding the iPad.
And Phil said, how do you normally have this when you're at the station, at the radio station? Do you have it like this way or do you have it that way? And so at the station I always have it this way. So what was happening was was covering up the mic. So
And I was of no help because I'm
love you,
not
honey.
technical.
And I apologize for saying I'm going to kill you. I'm not going to kill you. Okay, Frankie, let's get down to it.
This is our final try.
We're not going to try it again. So this is it. This is going to work. Okay, so Frankie, we haven't had a show in a while, and I have missed the daylights out of you. I mean, I'm telling you what.
Too.
But now you've been through something very traumatic. So you want to talk to us about that?
I would like to, because maybe it will help somebody else to not do what I did, first of all, and maybe from a spiritual aspect, maybe God's faithfulness has really been more real to me than ever putting through this situation. And what happened was, I love to work outside, and so I was trying to get this burn pile to burn, and I tried it 3 or 4 times, and it wouldn't burn. And so I had a small thing of gas, and I dabbed on 4 different places, and when I lit the match, it actually exploded.
Mm.
And
I mean, that alone, I mean, just the sound of an explosion had to freak you out.
yeah, my next door neighbor, God love her.
Neighborhood.
That's another story I need to tell that I have forgotten about. She heard it, and anyway, it burned me from my feet up to above my knees, and it burned my right arm and also a little bit on my face. My hair is a little bit thinner on this side now from the blast, but I tried to call Ronnie and on my cell phone, and he didn't answer, and I knew I had to get to the emergency room as fast as I could, because I knew it was going to be bad. I didn't know how bad, because I'd never been through it before, and it's amazing what you learn, because you have to learn, and you learn it the hard way. He finally did answer when I called on the house phone, and he was close by, so he came and got me. And by that time I was sitting on the side of the bathtub putting water on my legs, and so.
But you had heard already that if you use cold water instead of warm water, that helps.
No, I had never heard that.
You just happened to put
I
cold
just
water.
knew I was burning, and that I had to have some relief, and so I just instinctively went to the bathtub and started putting cold water on me. So we get in the car, head to the hospital. Of course, he's got the flashers going, and we're running 90 miles an hour, which made me more nervous.
Yeah. What if I have a wreck too?
And by that time, I'm shaking from the pain. And we get to the hospital, and so I go to the window and I say, I've burned myself. Can you get me back there any quicker because of that? And so I filled out just a little small sheet, and they got me straight back to a room, and the doctor actually came and started asking me questions, and they just took wonderful care of me. I just have to thank the staff at DeKalb Baptist Medical Center for the care they took of me that night. And so they get me back to a room and start trying to do something for my legs, and they started a morphine drip, and that didn't really help because I was about to go into shock. And can somebody let us know if we are getting
I just
out?
heard that they can.
Okay.
My husband Phil, that I love very much, that I can hear.
Kudos to Phil.
So
Because
this was
she kind of
traumatic.
messed up a while ago and she said something. And
I
she
mess
didn't
up
know
all
we
the
were on
time.
the air. And she's trying to,
I forgot to film. I've got a lot of explaining I got to do when I get home. But let's talk about the feel of it, because I know when, and I was going to joke around a little bit, but I didn't know whether I should or not, because sometimes you kid around, it's not at the right time. But sometimes when you're cooking bacon, and it'll splash up on you and it burns like crazy. I mean, it hurts.
Mhm.
So that's been magnified
I've done that.
thousands of times, with your legs with the
Right.
burn.
Yeah, I never really knew what pain was, that degree of pain, that kind of pain. It's totally different from any other kind of pain. But
Because you got the heat magnifying everything else.
oh, it's just
The skin is coming off.
yeah. It actually blew the skin off my kneecap. I don't want to get too graphic and make people sick, but part of the skin was missing. But I'm just so thankful that it was just that part of my body, even though they said that I should have been probably transferred on to UAB because of the large amount of burn. It was both legs and all the way above my knees. So the doctor at UAB, I went to UAB later. I was referred there, and that brings me to somebody else that I've just got to thank, and that's Family First at Rainsville.
Yeah, they were great too.
Oh my goodness, they saved me because I didn't know what to do after I left the emergency room. You really don't know what to do.
Well, they gave you some instruction too on how to do the bandage and how to put
Right,
it
but
on
we
there.
had complications. Some of the bandages actually adhered.
Oh my goodness! So then you had to go through more pain.
Yeah. This happened on a Tuesday, and we were trying to dress it and put everything on it, and one of the bandages was not non-stick, and it adhered on both legs.
So it was
had
like
that
it was
happen.
grafting and growing to your
It was
skin.
growing to my skin.
Oh my goodness! Oh
This
my
is not
goodness.
good.
No.
So Deidre, I just thank you so much for saving me. She got those bandages off. She numbed my skin and did the best she could. And the aftermath, after they take the skin off that's burned, is worse than the burn. I can tell you that. I was not prepared for that, and there's just so little online to learn about burns. So, but Ronnie was absolutely wonderful to me, and he helped take care of me. I was unable to walk for almost 2 weeks, and so he had to do everything, including taking me to the bathroom, and that's something I just never wanted to share. But once I went to Deidre out at Family First, she referred me to UAB Medical Center, and they put bandages on that only had to be changed once a week. So that was a blessing and a curse, because by then the itching had started and I couldn't.
Oh my goodness! You had that.
That
on
was a
top
whole
of-
nother. That was a whole nother part of the whole story. Is when you do start healing. Of course, the outer edges where I still had skin, it was just charred. It was kind of black and brown. It started to itch, and it was bandaged up not only with this gray bandage that looked like a air conditioner filter.
Oh,
It was
goodness.
bandaged with ACE bandages, so I couldn't really, it would itch and I couldn't scratch it. But I did heal up very well. I mean, the doctors at UAB, when I went back 2 weeks later, they were very, very pleased with it. But I'm going to ask Ronnie to join us. Ronnie, can you join us? Because he can bring in some other things, and I want to kind of talk about the spiritual aspects of it, and which is the most important thing. I mean,
And you guys already
We
had
all
a
go
strong
through- we
marriage,
all-
but then this kind of drew you guys closer together, didn't it?
No, anytime you go through something like that, it's see, bring you closer together, drive you apart.
Yeah.
So,
God was faithful. I mean, I've told you a lot of the terrible parts of it, and it was, and I'm still not over it. Like right now, my ankles are swelling, and I feel pinpricks in my legs from sitting. If I don't get them up,
You gotta be active.
Yeah, I've either got to be moving or I've got to have my feet up. And I still am having to, take care of the wounds and all that. But I didn't know how Ronnie would react to this. I just, it really does put a strain on because Ronnie works a lot, and I do a lot at the house.
Well, he has a very successful business. He's very busy with his business, which is a great thing. But then he kind of had to take a little time off to help.
Yeah.
and I've got to give just a shout out to all of my customers that I work on their equipment and stuff. They were super nice, super supportive, and thank y'all so much for understanding and allowing me to take that time off with Frankie, because that was the most important to me, to take care of her. So,
Well, during that time, this is real funny. The only way I could get around, like if he was not in the room or nobody, I was by myself, the only way I could go anywhere is to sit on the floor and scoot. That's the only way, because if I tried to put my feet on the floor, the pain would just overtake me. Even with pain medication, and I was on, what was I on?
oxycodone.
And I just couldn't put my feet on the floor. So for almost 2 weeks I couldn't walk.
And you're an active person, so I know, having lived with an active person, that had to be tough too.
And she never sits down when she's at the house. She's always up, down, up, down, up and down. And so that was traumatic for her.
Very. And but God was faithful through all that, and I said before, I never lost my song. Even when the pain was so intense, there would still be a song playing in my heart, just all day long. And mostly it was the older hymns, and it was, that just kept me going. And I thank God that He gave me those songs in that time. But also, because I believe now that because I was on so much medication, when I started to come off of those medications, and I came off of them pretty quick, I started into a deep depression. And Ronnie, bless his heart, he has that sunny personality. He's never depressed. We are opposites. If you didn't know that already, most people do know us. But I'm melancholy, and he's just bubbly, babbling brook, Dead Sea kind of thing. And so when I started getting depressed, he didn't know how to help me. He just, and
Her idea was for me to get in the pit with her, and my idea was to drag her out of the pit she was in.
these two are just alike.
Well, see, I was talking to Ronnie about, because I was afraid to disturb you. I was so afraid to call. I thought, well, by this very second, she finally went to sleep, and here I am calling. So I was talking with Ronnie, and I said, should I joke with her a little bit? Because we want to joke
Right,
with people to
right.
get them out
Well,
of
see, I never knew they
depression.
talked.
And yeah, so I said, should I just act like I broke a fingernail or something? Or would she slap me if I said that? Because I knew you were going through just a tough time.
It was deep. When
Yeah.
I would hit bottom, it was deep. It's like, it was bad. And what is so telling to me is this happens all the time with burned people, and I didn't know that. But when I went to UAB, I was still on pain medication, and that, I would just live till the next pain pill. But they had signs up everywhere, support groups for burn victims, and I thought, well, that won't be me, When I'm rid of this pain, honey, I'm fixing to hit the ground running. I'm going to be back, when this is over, I'm going to be just fine. That's
Because
not
there's
how it
other
happened.
healing that has to come with it other than the hurt part.
Right.
So it's the mind too that
Mhm.
has to get corrected.
And I think just coming off of that much medication, because I'd never been on anything like that before. I was one of these people, had surgery and took 2 pain pills, and I was done with it,
Mhm.
But this was entirely different. But I want Ronnie to tell about how faithful God was in seeing where I was at And He will do the same for you. He's not a respecter of person. Wherever you're at, He knows where you're at right now, and He can meet you right there where you are, because God set me up to get some help that night that I was so low.
Mm-hmm.
You were at
So
your
tell-
lowest point.
Mhm.
Yeah, just to kind of set this up or preempt this, there's a story in the scripture that talks about when Christ was crucified and buried, and when He arose, when the disciples came and looked into the tomb, and they left, the Bible said they left to a neighboring city, and said that Jesus met them in the road on their journey, which tells me that Jesus knows where we're at, and He doesn't have to hunt us. And that's what with Frankie, when she got in a deep depression, and there, I was working there at the house. We're building some stuff there at the house, and I was out there working, been out there all day, and she come out and said, "I think it's time for you to quit. You need to come in because I've been alone too much." And so she went on in the house, and I was getting together my tools up, and I felt real impressed that we needed to go out to eat. I needed to get her out of the house. Instead of the four walls of the house, we needed to get out of the house. So I went in and got a shower, and I got dressed, and Cracker Barrel just popped in my mind. Let's go to Cracker Barrel. And we had not been to Cracker Barrel in several months, and I didn't know why Cracker
So why
Barrel.
Cracker-
Yeah, why Cracker Barrel? Cracker Barrel's a great place to eat, but we just hadn't been there in several months. And so we even drove through some of the other parking lots of some of the other restaurants down in Fort Payne, and they were all full, and so we wound up back at Cracker Barrel. And 2 or 3 tables down from where we were seated was a couple that were friends of ours, and on their way out, they stopped by the table and started talking, and Frankie shared with what she was going through. And her friends, they had been through something similar. She'd been through a fire at Gaylord Hotel up in Nashville. Yeah, over in Nashville.
Right.
And a very traumatic experience, and she went through depression, post-traumatic stress syndrome.
So she was walking her through what she was
She went through and explained that, said, "I've been right there. I know exactly what you're going
Somebody
through."
understands this, you know.
Because you go through stuff, you think I'm the only person in the
Mhm.
whole
You just
wide
feel
world
so
who has gone
alone.
through
Yeah,
this.
yeah.
You feel so alone.
So these little things that we sometimes call coincidence may not be a coincidence. It may be a God encounter. God setting us up to get us some help. And sometimes it's not those big grandiose moments that we expect. Sometimes it's just a little small voice that says, "Go to Cracker Barrel."
So,
And then
no accidents.
to top it off, the next day we sung at a little church, and we just went to kind of help them out. We didn't take any of our equipment or anything, but they asked me to come forward for prayer, and that just really helped me too. And then that afternoon, and I'll let Ronnie tell that, my pastor's son, the little church I grew up in, came to our house, and he had gone through 2nd and 3rd degree burns, and I didn't even know it. And so that was such a help to me.
So you're hearing all these stories just that you've not heard before.
Right.
All of a sudden they're just happening.
And that just tells me, Donna, that God is faithful. He cares about what we go through. Things are going to happen in this life because we are in a broken world. And, why I did what I did, I can't tell you. Why it happened like it did, I don't know. But I told the Lord when I was going through the worst of it, if you can get glory from this, then I'm willing to go through it, And it did get rough. It was very rough, but my faith didn't waver during all that, because I knew that the Lord was the only place I could go. It's the only place to run. And I can tell you this: if you aren't ready to meet the Lord, you don't want to experience hell, because that was pain like nothing I had ever experienced, and I've had my share of pain. But you need to make sure that you're ready to meet the Lord. And I want to tell you that if you need help, you can always contact me on Facebook. You can go to Point of Honor. We have a webpage, and also Frankie Height King. And just send me a message. I'll be glad to help you.
Absolutely. And it's always a family affair too, so it wasn't just affecting you, it was affecting Ronnie as well. And you guys made it work.
Oh, yeah. We're a team. We're one. And so,
I just felt such pity for him. I mean, he was out of his element. He was totally out of his element.
before we got married, I was a bachelor, and so I know how to cook and all that. But men do things differently than women do, and so
Now, admit it, you are spoiled.
Oh, I am. I'm not spoiled. I'm blessed, is what it is. That's what. So, but cooking didn't. I didn't mind the cooking part at all.
He's a very good cook.
But the getting things done when she normally does them didn't get to happen right on time, and the cats didn't get to be
We
fed
all
every
go
day
through
like
it.
this, right on time.
So
and-
when she said feed them now, you didn't necessarily feed them now.
Right, maybe not that moment, no,
Uh-huh.
but they got fed.
Yeah.
They're not hungry, I promise.
Well, men and women are different,
Mhm.
but I don't think it's kind of nice though.
But God made us
Yeah.
that way.
Yeah.
He made y'all different.
Yeah.
Well, and another thing, I just, we take walking for granted, but not being able to walk,
Mhm.
it gave me a new appreciation just for
I could
simple
tell when I was
things.
talking to you on the phone. It's like I knew you were going through some kind of depression, but because you're so active, and it's almost like you were stricken down. It was like you could not.
And it was,
Didn't mean
that made
anything.
it very hard for
Yeah,
me
because
because
you
I
seem
am so
active.
active.
Yeah.
And I am accomplish driven. I've got to accomplish. I mean, I make lists every day, and these aren't, these are just measly little things to most people. But I make lists of every little thing I'm going to try to accomplish.
Yeah, but that's what
that day.
makes you successful.
Mhm.
So let's talk to the folks too about the group Point of Honor. And you're the lead singer, and you also write the songs.
And
you
he's the
sing.
lead singer too.
Both of you. They're both the lead singer.
No, we got harmony too.
Yeah.
We love harmony.
Right.
We love harmony.
Yeah.
But-
So have you guys
Well,
been
we
able to
had-
practice any since
We
this has happened?
have. We started back singing last weekend. We had a recording date scheduled for July the 10th,
We had to postpone.
and we didn't get to make that, but we've got it rescheduled for August the 29th, so we're anxious to do that and excited about that. So,
We were able to attend this past Saturday, attend a writers conference over in Atlanta, and so
Mhm.
that was
And that was good to get you out too,
Mhm.
and get you
Yeah.
kind of back in
But
the niche of things.
my
again.
ankles were about that big when I got home. But yeah, it was so good to get to fellowship with other writers. That's the main thing that I love
Well, that's your
about it.
heart. That's
Yeah.
where you're at.
Well, if God wills,
Mhm.
it's up to Him. The more we can surrender what we think we're supposed to be doing or what our gift is, sometimes God leads us in a whole other direction. We just never know. But we've got to be willing to go the direction He sends us.
So is a song coming out of this?
Well, a few
That's
weeks.
the first thing I told
A
Ronnie.
few weeks.
So there's going to be a song
No, a
coming.
song has not come out of this, but the Lord did give me a couple of lines. God knows, and He knows best. And so, just today, I started working in the yard again a little bit, and I started getting more of the song. I usually get it when I'm outside.
Yeah, that's what Phil always says about you. When you are kind of in a weird place, Phil will say, "Go get on the lawnmower
Yeah.
again." He always says that, doesn't he?
Well, God will give them as I need them.
Uh-huh. Sometimes on the lawnmower.
Mhm.
Yeah, I depend on Him totally. I'm not a song crafter. Can't do it. Not anything like those song crafters that get hits. Not me.
There are those that have the ability to craft a song, and
But that's different, though.
It is.
You craft, and then it comes from the art. That's two different things,
Yeah.
isn't it?
I think a lot of it is.
It depends on who you ask. I don't know anything about this business. I just want to be obedient to whatever He brings into my life,
And you're doing just that.
and I just hope that out of this that you see that God don't like me any better than He likes you, and He is so faithful and he's my best friend, and whatever happens in my life, he's going to be right there.
You know, a lot of people too may look at what Frankie went through, and they may experience something in their life that makes them wonder, what have I done? What caused this? What have I done to cause this? Or God, why are you doing this to me? Mm-hmm. And that's not the case. And it's very evident in Scripture, if you go back through in the story of Job and understand that God didn't put those things on Job. Satan went to God and had to get permission from God to allow him to do these things. So the troubles and the trials came from Satan. God does allow those. And it's a testing time. It's a trying time. Mm-hmm. And the only way that you can get pure gold is you've got to put it through the heat. You've got to put it through the fire.
Right. That's right.
You've got to burn out those impurities. Mm-hmm. No pun intended. But
2 weeks ago I would not be
No.
smiling.
yeah, she was smacking me 2 weeks ago. But the only way that we can get better a lot of times is we've got to be tested. We've got to be tried. And we got to know where our trueness is.
And that's what happens with gold. Gold has to
Right.
be purified that way and put
Right.
through
And
the
they
fire.
know it's
Right.
pure when they can see
All-
the reflection.
All precious metals have to
So-
be purified.
So
And-
when God sees His reflection in us, then we're getting somewhere.
That'll, that'll preach, y'all.
Well, guys, I think this is the end of the show.
I hope we
It
made it.
is, yeah. I think we probably did make it.
Thank y'all for
So-
tuning in, everybody that's popped up there on the screen.
Absolutely, and we'll be doing another one next week. And so we've got this thing figured
God
out.
knows.
Yeah, we got this thing figured out. And thank you so much for your patience and letting us, be part of your world this afternoon. So again, thank you so much, and goodbye.
God
Thank you so
bless.
much for listening and watching. All right, let's see. I think you may have to go over there and turn it on.
She's stuck.
I'm stuck.
We are in very small quarters.
Yeah, we like each other for a few minutes, don't we?
We used to-
Okay, right over there on the end. There you go.
Bye-bye.